Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to Stock Trading Pro. Today's Stock Market Live is going to take a little bit of a twist. We're actually going to start out with Bitcoin news. Bitcoin mining stocks are in play today because the main crypto Bitcoin is resting right at a big breakout level. I think that we've been watching for most of 2022, waiting for it to break out right now. It's kind of sitting right on the precipice. The Bitcoin mining stocks that we typically watch are right there as well. Going to make a little bit of a prediction this week, something I don't normally do, and it's mostly based on what the market typically does and where it is. For the last 2 weeks, we've had large cap stocks carry the load higher today. And for the last 2 weeks, I think heading into this week, we're going to discuss whether or not we expect those stocks to follow through. A lot of news in electric vehicle stocks right now. They're reporting the deliveries. They're also reporting XPEV is reporting earnings as we speak, maybe just even a couple of minutes ago. And take a look at that. It's actually up close to 6% at this moment. We're also going to talk about the sector rotation for the week and how last week played into what we're looking at this week. Okay, we're also going to put a price target on what we're expecting for Bitcoin futures if they finally take out this level today and how we plan to trade it. I just want to say hello to somebody. Hey, Mike Chang, how's it going? Good morning. Hope you had a nice weekend. Where's my buddy? John Bates. Good morning, pal. How's it going? Great to see you in the boot camp this week. Okay, so stick around. Be back in just 1 second. We have a ton of stuff to talk about today, and we're going to prime the whole week starting today and map it all out. Be right back. Okay, so thank you so much for being here with me today, everybody. Obviously, everything we discuss here is for educational purposes. It's financial education for you to make that final decision. It's my mission to help you make better decisions, to help you make trading decisions with conviction. I want to say, John Weinberg, have to say hello to you here this morning. Thank you so much. I see that you just joined our mastermind group. I just can't express how much you trusting me for the next part of our journey together means to me. Now we're going to get a little bit more into other stuff with Forex and options and crypto. Just a big, big journey. I just want to say thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Min Vai, I think the hardest working entrepreneur that I know, who's also a trader and going to soccer games with his dad all the time, with his kids all the time. All right, so we're going to hop right over into Bitcoin. We're actually going to start right where we wanted to talk about, and then we're going to come back in here to our buddy electric vehicle stocks, and we're going to start right here. Okay, so this is the big level we've been watching. If we map this out and we zoom it over to 2022, this is essentially where we are right here at the beginning of 2022. One of the biggest things right now is we've been waiting, right? And why have we been waiting? And I really think that the biggest thing is if you can remember about 2 weeks ago when the Fed announced interest rate hikes, the market was getting hit pretty hard prior to that announcement. And on that day, we were very clear, especially after we sold off on Monday, 2 days before the announcement. We said that it was priced in already. We said that all of the selling that happened for 2022 was because of the indecision about if and when they were actually going to raise. So that kind of brings me over here to Bitcoin news and this, okay? This is the big thing. And I want to be straight up super clear about this, okay? Britain will review crypto regulation plans coming in the coming weeks, sources say. So I am Stock Trading Pro. This is Stock Market Live. I am a stock trader. We have Bitcoin conversations inside of our Discord community every day. I personally have been waiting for more regulation to get heavier involved in Bitcoin. To me, very similar to the Fed announcement, this is actually good news because I think this is actually going to open it up to where a lot of people like myself who have been on the sidelines are going to feel a little bit more comfortable with the more Bitcoin news that gets released like this on Bitcoin regulation. So crypto, we all know that a lot of the major banks are forming crypto trading desks, for lack of a better way of putting it. So this is actually good news. But how does that come into Bitcoin futures and the breakout? So if this news is what's expected, and you can see the big down move since it hit all-time highs over here. We've been going sideways basically since January started. Big double top at all-time highs, bearish order flow since then. So let's actually map that out. And like that, once we broke here, and hopefully if you're a regular viewer of the channel, one of the biggest things that we do here on the channel is we try and make everything actionable. We want your stock trading ideas to be actionable, stuff that you can take to the bank, hopefully, if you're following the rules. So when we find a stock that has bearish order flow, in this case, Once that downtrend gets broken, we wait for it to stop after it breaks. So once it stops, then we have the high of the break and we have the low from where it just came from. That's where we draw the box from. So in our world, in our trading strategy, which is order flow and tape reading, until it gets out of that box, there's nothing to do. And we've actually had a lot of nice comments here in the community about just simply learning how to draw these boxes. And you're trying to take a step back. You're like, wow, I was trading and there was nothing to do. So think about why stocks go into these boxes. And right now we're actually talking about the price of Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures. They go into this box because that's technically the right price. Until somebody says, I have supply and I'm going to dump it on the market, right now there's nothing to do. Until somebody has a analysis, whether it's technical analysis on Bitcoin or whatever stock you happen to be watching, it's going to stay in that box until they're willing to pay a higher price for whatever reason. I believe at this particular moment, and again, I'm not predicting, I'm not doing it. It's just the fact the news is coming out, more regulations coming in. And I do believe that's why most of these crypto assets have been kind of going sideways. So now that Bitcoin is resting right at this $45,000 level, and probably for like the fourth time it's finally broke the box. You can see once prior to breaking the box, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5. This is actually the 6th time if you take these here, and now we're resting here. So I want to be clear on the trade idea that I'm looking for right now. So before I get involved, I want to be clear about that because I want you to have something that's actionable to think about, like how I'm thinking through the Bitcoin trade. I'm looking for a close above 45,000. I'm not looking for just a trade to 45,000. I'm not looking for it to just get above the $45,000 level. I'm looking for it to close. And that would be the first sign that I believe that we're going to head back up. So the sign and my first entry, we get a lot of questions here about the actual entry. I'm looking for a close above 45,000, and then I'd be looking to put the trade on. Now, the second part of the trade is, what is my initial profit target? My initial profit target is, we got a good question last week of how do you determine support or resistance levels? Get a lot of questions, especially in the bootcamp coaching calls. And beyond a shadow of a doubt, most people make it too complicated. And the way that I talk about it is, where was the last place buyers or sellers did something significant? So you've heard us talk about holding the bid, which means if a stock rallies and pulls back, that's natural. But if a stock rallies and goes sideways, that means they're holding the bid, because if they're selling and they can't push it down, somebody's holding that bid. A terminology that we actually introduced, I believe it was last Wednesday, where we said the opposite of that, which was holding the offer. So if you see a stock push down and have a pullback, that's normal. That's a normal pause. But if a stock pushes down and goes sideways, especially while the market's rallying, that's holding down the offer. So what we're seeing here is the level where the last time they held the offer, the last significant resistance that I see right now in Bitcoin is right between 50 and 52,000. So that's what we're looking at right over here. So instead of it going down and pulling back, kind of like it did here, it actually kind of went sideways. So if we take this part of the box here and bring it right over there, 52,000, let me get that in there exactly. 52,000 is the level that I'm looking for. So I'm looking for an initial move of 45,000 in Bitcoin, close above that level, looking for it to get back up to the 52,000 level. So that's going to translate into me looking at a couple of Bitcoin mining stocks that, again, I'll give all credit to Aldo, who's the crypto expert inside of our Discord community. Mara and RIOT are the top 2 that I look at. So what I'd like to ask you to do right now, hey, Catherine, good morning, Catherine. How's it going? So what I want to do is I want to ask you in the chat right now, I'm going to do some analysis now on Mara, RIOT, BKKT, and HUT. Type into the chat right now. Let me know what other things around Bitcoin you might be trading right now. Just curious to see how everybody in the community is actually trading around Bitcoin. So it'd be kind of cool to see. Hey, Mark Badesh. Good morning. Hope you had a nice weekend. So John saying BT. Okay, so let's actually go through the charts. So that's my analysis of Bitcoin at this particular point. So Mara, which was actually up already this morning. Okay, you can see it's actually up almost 8%, which is now taking it right to the breakout level. So one thing I want to point out here is something that we've discussed quite a bit is we need to set initial profit targets. So my initial profit target for Mara on the breakout is going to be up in this area right around, again, Let me actually, it's yellow. Can't see that. Right around the 51, 52 area. So again, you can see here very similar. It pushed down and did not back up. So they held the offer there, and you can see they actually did it here as well. So my upside target in Mara, the Bitcoin mining stock, Marathon Holdings, is also 52. So ironically, Bitcoin, I'm looking for 52,000. Marathon Digital, I'm actually looking for it to trade up to 52 as well. So keep typing in what you're trading in the Bitcoin side of things. It'd be kind of interesting to see. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, let me go over RIOT. Okay, so RIOT, basically the same kind of thing. A little bit lower target, though. We're looking in the 26 area. Okay, so let's see. A lot of people are typing in BT. So keep an eye on that. So roughly around $3. So this is actually kind of cool. We can actually watch this breakdown here. So it broke the box here, rallied, and stayed in that box. So after this rally did not take it out again, we had to draw a new one. So this is kind of cool. So we're down there now. And if we're going to draw the box here in BT, that right there is the top of the box. And if we draw another one, right down there is the bottom of the box. So basically we'll be looking at getting out of here. It's actually an inverted head and shoulders bottom. So we're probably looking at somewhere around above 425 here. Let me see what BITO Skyview team. Hey, I think you guys are the big options trading team. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So BITO. Okay, so let's take a look at BITO. I believe that is the ETF. Okay, so very similar. Obviously, we've looked at the big move to the downside. We're looking at the 2022 box. So in this case here, we're probably looking at a move over 28, which is actually already over there. Now, one of the big things I want to point out, and I was very specific about this when I talked about Bitcoin price prediction getting above 45,000, is I'm looking for a close above those levels. So if you remember last week, we had quite a few stocks that had earnings opened higher, and we were super clear. We said it's got to stay above that level for us to have conviction for that to end up becoming a swing trade for us through the week. So a lot of them are trading above that level right now. But what I said about Bitcoin is I am looking for a close above 45,000. You know, again, we talk about scripting out your ideas. That's a really big part of it, because a lot of people on the are working a full-time job, and then they got to make their plan before the market opens. I am looking for a close above 45,000, but I am looking to start initiating positions in Mara today with an initial first piece, because this is the first time out of the box. So I guess you could say I'm getting a little bit of a head start on the breakout because we are getting follow through. Let's see. Winston saying he's trading altcoins. Okay, Winston Loke, thanks for joining us today, Winston. I really appreciate it. Daniel trading SOS. Let's take a look at that one. Okay. I actually, full transparency, I don't trade OTC stocks and I don't trade bulletin board stocks. So SOS would not be something that I would personally be trading myself. Let's see. Carter. Yeah. Square. SQ. My gosh, this guy has been on a tear lately. Didn't do much last week, but we're looking for them to follow through. You can actually see it's already up a little bit. So it's kind of cool about this. And if you remember, we talked last week about, and actually this is something we're going to talk about with Apple stock today and the large cap stocks that have carried the market very, very far beyond the optimal entry, which means that we call those bullish echoes. And a bullish echo essentially means that the stock is clearly a buying opportunity, but because of how far it is from the optimal entry, Apple right now is what we would have as a day trade best case scenario, waiting for the next pause. Now, what's kind of cool about this is last week we also talked about SQ block, as who typed that in before? Carter. Carter typed in SQ, is that it rallied $50 in a very short period of time. And we said, okay, this is great. We needed to pause. We could day trade it, but we needed to pause before we look for the new swing trade. Now, this is how you start to stack the order flow and put the argument together for whether you're buying the next stock, the best stocks to buy now, or whether you're looking at some of these crypto ideas that we're talking about. Because the crypto universe is lining up for a big move higher if we get the breakout. Now, again, as Carter said, we're going to start looking now at SQ Block Inc., because now after that $50 rally, if you go way back to last week, we said we want to see it pause before we look for the next swing trade long. And that's exactly what it's doing now. So it's kind of exciting. You kind of jump out of your seat when something you expect to have happen unfolds. And that's actually what we're talking about here. So you can visualize this move and now a pause looking for the next move higher. And there is a lot of room that this stock has to go. Even if we just go from this area right here and we draw just a simple retracement level to come up with a price target. Even there, we're still looking at up in this area of about 170. So that's still a $50 move to the upside of a potential initial profit target if you buy SQ Block Inc. stock. I keep calling it Square. Does everybody still keep calling FB Facebook? I do it all day in the community. I don't know. All right, Franz. Franz is looking at coin. I know a lot of people are taking a look at coin here as well. Let's hop on over to the charts and take a look at coin. We're going to work our way over to the electric vehicle stocks. So here's the breakdown in coin. You can see the box that it broke here, and it did not get out of the box. Let me actually get rid of that so it's a little bit of a cleaner box. So up in the 370 area, and there is the break of the box, the break of the downtrend. So now we get in here, and now after a week, it's actually rallied, and now that's the new box in coin. Now, what's kind of cool is once you break the box, it becomes kind of obvious to see. So it's basically 152 to 193, somewhere in that area. And now you can see it's actually above that level. So again, we want to have some kind of projections. We need to know initial profit targets, or at the very least where it could possibly go to. So in this case here, we're looking up in the 260 area as a potential level, which is still another $65 higher than where we are right now. Let's see, a lot of people looking at BKKT as well. I agree with you on that one. Again, I don't normally trade stocks under $10, but I understand the trade. A lot of people liking to get in there as well. Kelly calling out HUT. Yep, absolutely. That's another one that a lot of people have been keeping an eye on. By the way, first, obviously, thank you for coming and being on these calls, but I want to thank you for the participation too, because it's kind of fun when we're having more of a conversation than me just talking at you. And if you haven't done so already, please do me a favor. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you find value, hit the thumbs up. So let's see, Rafi, what do you got, Rafi? Nile, Nile. I don't know that one. Let's actually take a look. Okay, yeah. So this is another penny stock. It's not necessarily something that I would trade. And you know what? Let me give a little bit of feedback on that, because I want to make it super clear. I don't trade penny stocks. I don't trade over-the-counter stocks. The way that I tend to trade, it's all based on this. And if you want, you can take a quick screenshot of this. I'll give you a heads up that it's coming. Is I'm generally looking at stocks that have order flow. I'm getting dominant stocks that have obvious sector rotation. And obviously, you can see this is coming into Monday. 30 stocks met the criteria. So if we break this down a little bit further into which groups, it should be obvious right now where I'm looking to focus right now. I think the basic material stocks are a little bit overdone to the upside. They're way beyond the optimal entry, but energy perked up a lot this week. We're seeing a lot of ideas: Schlumberger, ExxonMobil, Halliburton, EOG, FANG. You know, I want to point out something in FANG, and this is actually an interesting setup, because FANG is one of the stocks that had the strongest week, last 5 trading days. But one of the things that we noticed, whether you're talking about FANG or CPE, these two particular stocks, and this is really building an argument for you determining which are the best stocks to buy now, and knowing those stocks, you know, kind of like the back of your hand, that you know them better than anybody on Wall Street because you trade them kind of on a regular basis. FANG, if it opens higher today, and I'm going to go to the charts. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about you're going to look to short sell this stock. It's if you're already long the stock, you need to know the history of what the stock normally does when it rallies and opens higher. These are the kind of cool distinctions that we talk about every day in the community. So I want to point this out to you just in case you happen to be already a buyer of it and thinking about potential profit risk management type things, whether you're going to move up your trailing stop, whether you're going to scale out of some of it. So I want to take a look at this and just show you this right now, because it's something really interesting to pay attention to. So we're just going to start over here. So we had a breakout and a fail, a higher opening and a breakout and a fail, a higher opening and a breakout and a fail, a higher opening and a breakout, and now we got another move and we're actually opening down. So it's going to be very interesting to learn whether or not that whole group, which is strong, do they open here and rally and take out those levels, or do they have now profit taking? I think right now, heading into the week this week for me, and I'm just going to say it, I'm going to put it out there. I think that the market's going to pull back a little bit this week. I think that the overhead resistance, and let me actually show you in Apple, because large cap stocks have been kind of carrying the weight over the last couple of weeks. You can see here in Apple, once, twice, three times, and now we're right there again, four times. We're actually down already. So what we're looking at today, I believe that we're going to actually have a little bit of a lower opening. We're probably going to have one last gasp of a rally, maybe even take out some of the highs from last week. But then I think that we're going to see a little bit of profit taking coming into the market this week, which means that I'm going to be looking at trades on both the long and the short side of the market this week. And we do have a bunch of stocks on the short side. So I'm going to give you some short sale ideas that I'm looking at for the week. And again, if you don't understand short selling essentially means that you are looking for the stock to go down because you believe that there's more supply on the market than there is demand, which means more selling. So you could do it in one of two ways, actually three, if we're going to talk about just short selling in general. You can short sell the stock, which means you borrow the stock from your broker dealer. And if it goes down, you make a profit on the difference between you shorted the stock and bought it back, which is called covering. If the stock goes up, obviously you have to get out of the trade the same way you would any trade that doesn't work in your favor. You could also buy puts. A put option means you believe it's going down. Or we've had this conversation quite a bit in our Discord community recently, which is if you're not comfortable with short selling, you just don't understand it, you're not familiar with the mechanics, and you just don't want to do it, you can always trade the inverse ETF. So I'm just going to give it, we got a lot of questions about these right here. Okay, right here, which is SDS. So this SDS, you can see it's an ultra short. So this moves in the opposite direction of the market. So you know the market had a 2-week rally, so this went down. So if the market goes down this week, if the SPY and the rest of the market ends up going down, SDS or SQQQ have been the one that most of the members in our community have been trading. So there's three different ways to possibly capitalize if the market goes down. Now, something that's kind of cool that we get a lot of good questions about this is, how do I protect myself if I have good positions and the market appears to have changed the order flow? So like most of 2022, the market and the SPY, we'll just use the SPY as an example, where it topped out and has basically been pretty much down for most of 2022. Well, how do you protect yourself? Well, the one thing you can do is buy put options. So whatever you spend on that put option, that's technically kind of like your stop loss, that if the market goes down, let's say you bought SPY, S&P 500 puts, if the market goes down, your put increases in value. Little tip, buying it as close to the money as possible will have the most close correlation to the way the market moves. The challenge with using puts, the challenge with that is puts expire by the very definition of that. They're a contract that expires. So your protection, so to speak, will have a duration. So unless you time it correctly, you can then be exposed again to if that put. You can always do it again, roll it out, another contract. That's one way to do it. The other way is to trade the inverse ETFs, where you would hedge a small position in the inverse ETFs to protect your profits on the long side. So if the market goes down, your inverse ETFs gain in your P&L, despite losing money on the other trades that you're looking to hold a little bit longer. And that you can do that whether you're day trading or swing trading. Oh, excuse me. It doesn't matter, one or the other. But I can't get this across with enough emphasis. You need to plan that out beforehand. Reacting after the fact, especially if you're looking to buy puts. If you buy puts after the market has had a big move down and the VIX has a big move to the upside, the price of the premiums on the puts are going to be inflated because of the increase in volatility. So you really kind of need to plan that out before, while you want to buy it, so that the implied volatility is not expanded, so that you have a decent price on those premiums. Now, whether you can afford it versus inflated premiums, that's two different conversations. Okay. So I want to get into some XPEV news this morning. So we're gonna hop on over there. Oh, by the way, this is obviously something big to keep an eye on. This is a big conversation. Bond yields weighing on stock futures. We're going to keep watching that. That is a big deal to, I'm not even logged in, to keep an eye on. We talked about the crypto news. Here's the big thing I want to talk about. XPEV and all of these stocks now reporting. XPEV is actually up 4% after reporting this morning. They beat on deliveries between 33,500 and 34,000. So that also means now, not only do we have crypto mining stocks in our trading game plan, playing off the volatility, the potential volatility of them breaking through, we have a lot of electric vehicle stocks that have been in play. And again, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know that we've been talking specifically about the electric vehicle charging stocks, which have been very strong recently. So we've been looking at BLNK, we've been looking at EVGO, we've been looking at CHPT. Those are the stocks. Let me actually pull them up on the screen so that you can maybe have them to watch. So CHPT, okay, you can see the nice rally we've had recently. BLNK, Breakout as well, and EVGO. So those are the ones that we've been keeping an eye on. Now, the other part of the universe, XPEV, which, as we just said, earnings. Now, there is really not order flow. So I want to get this across very, very quickly because I get a lot of questions about trading earnings and around earnings. The way that I trade earnings is I don't trade after hours when it's announced. I don't trade pre-market when it's announced. If I have an existing position knowing that the earnings are coming out, then I have a whole separate strategy. Now that the XPEV earnings have come out, XPEV, NEO, and LI deliveries are being announced. Now there's a separate catalyst. Now, the reason I'm being very specific with saying there's a separate catalyst is because they do not have bullish order flow right now. So we need to separate reading the charts and order flow from a catalyst that we could take advantage of in the short term. And when I say short term, it could be today as a day trader. We talked about NEO last week, massive volume after reporting. This week, Monday through Friday, if XPEV and the news around these electric vehicle stocks remains positive this week, and if it's seen by the market as positive, we could look for a trade that we might hold from Monday through Friday, have a nice little cash flow trade. So that's one thing. The other thing that's setting up today, which we'll take a look at the chart right now, one of my favorite chart patterns of all time, Tesla. Okay, so Tesla's actually up big, but here's the thing I want to talk about. So it's up at 1079, which is actually going to take it way up here, right in that area. Wow, it's way up there, right around that area. So let's just say that's right where it is, right? Give or take a nickel. This is actually what I'm talking about right here, okay? If you are, again, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, one of the biggest things we talk about is we make money during the push, we manage risk and position size during the pause. So Tesla on Friday paused. On Thursday, it paused. It was setting up a phenomenal trade today that I couldn't wait to take advantage of. But now with all of the bullish electric vehicle news this morning, this week, we should be able to take advantage of it. Now, we've also talked about Apple a little bit today, and we said the large cap stocks carried the market for 2 weeks. Apple is a good example of what we've been looking at in Tesla this morning, where it's well beyond the optimal entry of the trade setup that I was looking at today, which was essentially looking for it to break out of this two-day pause and this melted candle. So you can basically say it paused for 3 days. I was looking for this coming out of this, but we're all the way up here already. So let's just say 1079, just to keep the numbers simple. That's going to be my line in the sand, looking for another move in Tesla. So again, so I don't get misquoted, let's be super clear on what the trading plan is for Tesla. We have a lot of bullish news on these electric vehicle stocks this morning, deliveries, earnings, all that kind of stuff. Wherever they open is going to determine how I'm going to read the tape on that right now, because Tesla right now is up almost $68. That doesn't mean I'm just buying it on the entry. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of the people that come into our community, the biggest problem is first is overwhelm. The second one, though, is buying at the wrong time and not assessing risk reward on that moment that you're about to hit that buy button to buy whatever you believe is the best stock to buy now. So Tesla is a little bit extended right now. So that means I need to adjust the reward potential I would expect based on the risk. So now I'm not using Thursday and Friday's price action for stop loss anymore because we're kind of like way up here off the screen for our Tesla price action right now. So I'm going to adjust my entry and my risk on Tesla and quite frankly, some of these other electric vehicle stocks today based on the bullish gap. Now, I get asked questions quite a bit already. Which of these electric vehicle stocks are my favorite to trade? Obviously, Tesla is the big dog. That's the one you got to keep an eye on every day. But for me personally, XPEV seems to, for whatever reason, I think we all have stocks that are easy to trade versus hard to trade. I think we all have those stocks that kind of have our number. I find XPEV to be pretty easy to trade when it's in play. It hasn't been in play for a while. Maybe this news today will have it in play and we'll get a few bullish weeks out of it. If it does, awesome. We'll be all over it. We'll take advantage of it. NEO still has a lot of other stuff going on around it, the dual listing and all that kind of stuff. I am going to be leaning more towards trading XPEV. I just want to pull this out here a little bit. Comment, Mark. Implied volatility in terms of options typically translates to high prices. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what the point I was trying to make. So thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that. All right. So anyway, hang on. I got to delete somebody who's posting his WhatsApp stuff. By the way, just so it's out there, you will never see me post anything from WhatsApp. So I just had to take somebody off of the call because they were posting a WhatsApp link. So if you ever see anything, anybody pretending to be me using my picture, I do not post and ask anything in WhatsApp. So please do not send anybody anything through WhatsApp. I do not do that. Okay. So Tesla, XPEV, NEO, LI. Let's not forget about the other. Let me give you the list because that's actually the list we're going to keep an eye on. So we have Tesla, XPEV, NEO, and NEO's actually seeing a little bit of a pop here as well, and LI. Those are the main ones that we talk about pretty much every day. Obviously, Lucid, LCID is a big one as well, and RIVN, which just has had continued bearish price action. So that's the list of that group they're going to be keeping an eye on. The one thing I do want to talk about, as promised, I want to talk about some stocks. If the market happens to roll over today or this week, some short sale opportunities I'm going to be looking for. If the market goes down, I'm going to be looking to put shorts on. So I'm going to give you a little bit list of those guys so you can keep an eye on them. And again, take a screenshot of this and then remember the short sale ideas that I just mentioned. So these are the stocks that meet the perfect criteria. You can see energy is kind of weighted a little bit heavier in there. Allstate actually is way, way, way beyond the optimal entry. So I'm not looking to be a buyer of this today. I'm actually looking for this to pull back a little bit. But the short sell opportunities that I'm actually keeping an eye on today, just to give you an idea of some ideas that if the market goes down, I'm going to be looking for these to push lower. So Uber is actually one of them. I know they had news recently, but I'm looking for Uber to head a little bit lower. Nike still complaining about supply chain issues. We'll see where that one ends up. UPST and TTD. So again, I don't trade pre-market, so I'm not looking really where the pre-market levels are right now. Those are the stocks that have existing bearish order flow, and if the market rolls over, those are the stocks that I'm going to be looking to put shorts on today. Okay. So we got a lot to unravel this week. So my main focus right now, just so everybody understands my game plan heading into the week, Bitcoin resting at that $45,000 breakout level. I'm looking for it to break out and close above 45,000. If it does, I'm looking for Bitcoin. Here's a Bitcoin price prediction. I'm looking for it to get up to 52,000. If all that happens, I am already starting to look at some trades in Bitcoin mining stocks, specifically, again, the ones that we've talked about here today, Marathon Digital, RIOT Blockchain, HUT, HUT, BKKT. Those are the ones. And again, I'll give full credit to Aldo in our Discord community. Aldo is our crypto expert, so to speak. Aldo, I hope you're feeling better today. So that's the game plan for the week. Then also on top of that, I believe the large cap stocks have now reached a point of where they're about to see a little bit of profit taking. Apple had that pretty big resistance just above where we are right now. It looks like we're trading a little bit lower. Here's the big thing. If you're going to map out the week, large cap tech stocks carried the market for the last 2 weeks. If large cap tech stocks show some weakness this week, you're going to have to be buying. The smart move would be buying with a little bit less conviction, maybe even looking for some short sales, maybe even trading just for some cash flow. We also talked about a lot of these electric vehicle stocks. Can they maintain the bid? Right now, Tesla is $67 higher right now. So that is the price that I'm going to be watching. So that means now, because of this monster gap, I'm going to be managing my risk on shorter time frames as opposed to using Friday's price action, which was setting up as a tremendous buying opportunity. We also saw energy. Let's actually finish up with that. Energy exploding. Let's get to Chevron. Okay, it's actually down now, but one of the biggest things I want to talk about is all these melted candles with a lot of indecision, even though it was grinding higher, finally woke up on Friday. Here's something that I said to everybody last week. You remember last week in the SPY, we had that one down day. I think it was Wednesday. Let's actually take a look at that right here. Okay, this down day here. A lot of the newer traders who came into our community said, oh, we're going down again. We're going down again. I'm like, let the market open. Stop making trading decisions based on action that's going on in the market at 6 o'clock in the morning. Unless there's major news, let the market open and then determine what you plan to do after you have your game plan already. So the market rallied hard Thursday and Friday despite the lower opening. So again, I'm just going to put it out there. I am looking to be a buyer of energy this week if we hold the bid. So wherever we open, we're going to open lower in Chevron. We're going to open lower in CVX. And we talked about FANG and CPE. Hess, a little bit overbought right now as well, well beyond the optimal entry. If they open lower and catch a bid, I will be bidding for those stocks today as well. Because, and again, this is why the data is telling me energy is weighted very strongly right now. Okay, so that's where I'm going to be focusing. So that's what I have for today. I think we're going to have pretty good volatility this week. I'm actually looking forward to it. Probably not the really strong bullish move that the market had last week. I think we're going to have a little bit more of two-way trading, which is why I made sure that I introduced the concept of short selling today. I think we're going to have a little back and forth this week. We're going to have ideas on the long side for cash flow. We're going to have ideas on the short side for swing trades. Only shorting stocks that are already showing bearish order flow. That's a big thing, a big mistake I made when I first started trading way back in the day, which was shorting strong stocks because I thought I was going to get the best price if that stock that was all the way up here. It's a gigantic mistake. Only look to short sell stocks that are going down already. Those are the ones you can expect the best follow through on. So that's my game plan heading into Monday. I'm excited. Are you excited? I think we're going to have a really good week of trading this week. Volatility's up there, plenty of news. I can't wait. I really can't wait to trade this week. I hope you wake up every day expecting to make money. I really do. If you don't, just a little heads up. Next Monday starts our next 14-day boot camp. If you want to learn about that, you can click down in the description. I hope to see you in there. If you're new to the channel, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash the updates. And here's the thing too. If you have any follow-up questions about what we talked about today, please make sure you leave a comment below the video, and I promise I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right? I have to head out. I got to get ready for our game plan meeting. Have an awesome day, everybody. Let's make it an awesome week. I'll see you here tomorrow. We'll do a recon on how well we traded today. All right? Have an awesome day, everybody. I'll speak to you soon.